So I wish this next story was a joke, but unfortunately it isn't. Politico tweeted, a band of DNC superdelegates is staging a revolt against a Bernie Sanders-endorsed plan to reduce their influence in the presidential nominating process. So it actually turns out that yesterday a committee advanced this. So there will be a vote on it at the DNC. There will be a vote on limiting the influence of superdelegates. However, my understanding is that the original plan was like, okay, we're going to keep superdelegates, but bind their votes to the will of the people. So, I mean, you could just eliminate them instead of having them and binding their vote to the will of the people. But you know what? Whatever. As long as it's the people's will being implemented, fine. But my understanding is that they watered it down from that. So now superdelegates will retain some power to maybe, in some circumstances, override the will of the people. So I think this highlights how disconnected the Democratic establishment is, and they don't get it. And listen, I have, so this is the superdelegates themselves flipping out and going, oh my God, this is terrible, why would you do this? And I want to give you a quote that perfectly illustrates the mindset of these superdelegates who want to retain their power. Representative Jerry Connolly, a Democrat of Virginia, said that this plan to reduce the influence of superdelegates, not eliminate them, reduce their influence, is, quote, a craven capitulation to what Perez describes as a perception of elitism. So in other words, Tom Perez isn't out there going, hey man, we are being elitists, we are being establishment, we are saying we should override the will of the people, and that's wrong on principle, because we should believe in democracy. Tom Perez is out there saying, okay guys, this is something we have to do because people have a perception that we're elitists. So we have to counteract that perception. No. It's not that just it's a perception. It's that you are being elitist. Because you have superdelegates who can override the will of the people. Of course, that's like the definition of elitism. We know better than the people who just democratically decided it, therefore we're going to override it. How is that not undemocratic? How is that not tyrannical? I mean, that is tyrannical. But he says, no, it's the perception of it. So, okay, I guess we have to do it. So Tom Perez and Bernie Sanders, and like Bernie was able to get all of the regular establishment characters on board, the prominent establishment faces like Tom Perez on board for doing this. But the superdelegates themselves are apoplectic. So Jerry Connolly continues here. He said the plan is, quote, disenfranchising the elected leadership of the party. I also believe the timing is wretched. We're in the midst of the battle of our lives to win back the majority of our House, and to schedule this vote with this recommendation that came out of nowhere is to me just wretched timing and political malpractice. Okay, so first of all, if you're confused about the timing, okay, don't put up a fight then. Then you don't have an issue. We don't have an issue if you all agree, yeah, we're going to get rid of the superdelegates and do the democratic will of the people. So if you're concerned about the timing, great, shut the fuck up and be on the side of the people. That's point number one. Point number two is, he literally argued the plan is, quote, disenfranchising the elected leadership of the party. Excuse you? Disenfranchising the leadership. So we're disenfranchising the people who have the ability to override the will of the people. No, that is not disenfranchising. Disenfranchising is what the superdelegates do to the will of the people. Saying, your votes don't matter, I know better because I'm an elitist. So I will override what you want. So he flips it. He flips it. There is no disenfranchising of the elected leadership. The leadership is supposed to, by definition, represent the people that put that leader there. If we put a leader there and then you override the will of the people, you're not a good leader. You're a shitty leader. You're tyrannical. You're undemocratic. But look at how they view it. They're so entitled. They're pampered little pricks. The fucking Republicans don't even have superdelegates. But Democrats have superdelegates, and then they have the nerve to act like, oh, we're so much better than them because we're democratic? What? We're not? We're less democratic? What? So I'm just stunned how up their own ass they are. All these superdelegates who are planning a revolt as if they're taking some sort of courageous stand. You're not taking a courageous stand. It's the exact opposite. You're undemocratic, literally. You're against the will of the people. And they think like, oh, this is going to make it so that we prevent a worst case scenario where if somebody too far left wins, we get to override that and then put in somebody who's more moderate so we have a better chance of winning. Except history demonstrates that the more moderate candidates have been losing. Maybe you can make your argument in 1992 when Bill Clinton won as a new Democrat, a centrist, but centrists have gotten their asses handed to them on a silver platter for decades now. We lost 1,000 seats with this centrist Democratic philosophy under Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Barack Obama. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. That's a verifiable fact. Hillary Clinton, the king of the centrists, lost to Donald Trump, a reality star buffoon. And you have the nerve to say, well, we should be able to kick out a very popular progressive and replace that person with a moderate, because if you don't let us override your will, you're disenfranchising us. Way to pervert the meaning of the word disenfranchise, you loathsome cretins.